How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Auspicious Conversation podcast. I'm your host, the Auspicious Bird, and with me, I have two very special guests. The first one, he ain't just any god, he is the god. He is the man that cooked up this fire beat you about to listen to the whole podcast through, and he will cook one up right for you. Talk to him and tell the god.
Goddamn right, nigga. That's right, I did make the beat. Thanks for having me on your inaugural show, bro.
Yep, very first show.
So,
All right.
just
Shout out any social medias, email. How can these people contact you?
follow me on SoundCloud, Intel the God. Follow me on Twitter, Intel the God. Pull up on PS4. I will kick your ass in MK11 at Intel the God, and follow me on Instagram at Intel the God. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, also pull up on Steam. I will kick your ass in Killer Instinct. Young Dagger Dick, nigga.
Oh my god. This man's already gonna be kicked off before we even get to the segments. Alright, but just to let you know about Intel's SoundCloud, he likes to start off all of his beats with, yeah, you already know who it is, even though you don't know who the fuck he is.
I don't start off all my beats like that.
He a laptop DJ.
I know you niggas don't know who I am.
Alright, anyways, for my next guest, you could probably drop him in real life, but he'll drop your ass in some CS.
Alright, hang on a second.
But, hold up, here's the redemption. He'll drop your ass in some CSGO and some Call of Duty. He is endless, daddy endless, father endless, BMW endless, Mustang endless. The amount of names he has are endless. So talk to them, endless. Talk to them.
Well, I mean, if it was endless, you would have just kept going forever, but...
I hate this.
I mean, you had to cut it short for the sake of brevity.
No. There's no such thing here. When you're talking about somebody as holy as I am...
Shut the fuck up.
Okay. That's the podcast, everybody. That's the podcast. Alright, but starting it off, a couple days ago, Thursday it was, we had a monumental moment in American automotive history. It is the reveal of the C8 Corvettes. Why are you asking this monumental? Because it is the first mid-engine car. For those of you that don't know too much about cars,
it is not the first mid-engine car. There are other cars that are mid-engine. The first mid-engine Corvette.
You right. This is the first mid-engine Corvette. There are plenty of other mid-engine cars. Why is it such a big deal for Corvette? Well, ever since around the 50s when Zora, who is referred to as the father of Corvettes, first started making them, he always wanted to make a street version of a mid-engine car. However, at the time they couldn't figure it out, even though Lamborghini and Ferrari were putting like V12s behind people at the time. We ain't gonna talk about it. But yeah, Josh, give your first impressions on what you thought of the Corvette.
And I'm telling you, it's gonna be a supercar killer.
Oh.
When you're talking base price, MSRP is under 60. Like, and you're a car that looks that caliber, a car that's usually seen as hard to obtain, finally becomes somewhat obtainable. You know, this is a car that if you're not quite ready for a big supercar, but you still kind of want the luxuries and the perks and the visuals that come with one, I think it's the perfect car. I think it's going to sell like crazy. I don't know if allocations for it are open yet, but if they are, I wouldn't be surprised if they're already gone.
Alright, there it is. And let's just keep a question in mind in what makes a supercar. I remember a popular YouTuber, Doug DeMiro, when he reviewed the Z06 and I believe the ZR1 Corvette, both of which, I'm pretty sure the Z06 has about 650 horsepower, the ZR1 has about 750. He kind of said that they aren't supercars, and the like a definition of it is kind of like a really high performance street car that's also exotic. So would the Corvette be seen as a supercar in other countries around the world, or is it, and here in America it's not, and is it kind of seen the same way in other countries? Like, does Italy view the Lamborghini and the Ferrari as a supercar even though it's not exotic? So it's just kind of a question to keep in mind for right now. Let's just
look. The titles for supercar, hypercar, whatnot, those are global titles. So
Okay.
like around the world, if you go to Italy and ask them if Lamborghini's an exotic car, they'll tell you yes. Is to be
Right.
defined as, you know, an exotic or or a hypercar, there has to be a certain amount of rarity to the car. And even though, Lamborghinis made in Italy, you might find more of them in Italy, there's still a level of rarity that comes with, being a Lamborghini.
You're right. You're right.
So is the new Corvette a supercar? No, but it's approaching on, what the boundaries of a supercar and what is not a supercar. The line is starting to become closer and thinner than ever.
Yeah, I can agree to that. Just a real quick look at the specs of the new Corvette. It is rocking 495 horsepower and 470 torque as a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 that is mid-centered. And one interesting thing that I believe the president of GM said during the press conference is that the current C7 ZR1 has a slightly faster 0 to 60. It is the only Corvette that in the lineup that is quicker than it. And I looked at the numbers, and the current ZR1 does a 2.85 0 to 60. However, the current generation Z06 does 2.95. So we're either looking, my guess is that it's probably just as quick as the current Z06, but it's somewhere in that range. And a big reason for it being a lot quicker is the new transmission. It's not going to be a traditional 6-speed. Actually, they were 7 speeds in this generation.
The new ones are 7 speeds, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a traditional 7-speed stick shift transmission. It's actually going to be a sequential that you shift through with, dual clutch that you shift through with the paddle shifters. So that's a big reason that makes it a lot quicker off the line. And Josh mentioned earlier. Oh shit! Endless mentioned earlier that it is.
Oh shit! I gotta hide my identity now. Gotta beep it out.
The Fed's coming after you.
Anonymity is broken.
But he mentioned earlier that the base model price is going to be under $60K. Now, granted, this should be before options, and the first model Corvette for this is going to be the Stingray. Generally in the lineup it goes like Stingray, Grand Sport, Z06, ZR1. I wouldn't doubt if we see a similar lineup to that, but under $60K for a mid-engine car with a sub 3 second 0 to 60, and that is supposedly supposed to be a monster on the track.
Well,
that's impressive.
What you gotta remember is to get sub 60, you're not getting the Z51 package, and the Z51 package is what's going to give you the 495 horsepower, the sub 3 seconds 0 to 60. So if you're looking to achieve those big numbers, you have to pay for that package, which will undoubtedly push it above 60K. But if you're just looking for like the look of the Corvette and you don't really care that much about the performance, the speed, then if you opt out of the package, you'll be less than 60 still.
True that. Intel, you weren't there for the press conference, but you saw what the new Corvette looks like. Just from the looks of it, what are you thinking about it?
That looks like a shit-talking car. That looks like the kind of car you pull up like to a high school reunion, and you see all the niggas that went fucking with you back then. And you're
now they are.
Nigga, I got this car, bitch. Like,
Bro, that's why I always wanted to roll up to high school reunion in like a Supra or something.
Right.
Just to be like none of you give me the time of day back then, but look at me now.
No, you can't roll up in a Supra because they don't know what that is, Josh. You gotta roll up in.
Everyone knows what a Supra is. Think of the meme. Is that a Supra?
Oh
I mean, when I hear Supra, I think of shoes for some reason. Well, actually, because I actually know why. I know why. Because those were a big thing back in middle school. No, in all seriousness, it does look like a really nice car.
Mm-hmm.
I am not too keen on or not keen, but I'm not too well versed in what all the specs are. This sounds pretty impressive. And what'd you say the price was again?
It is supposed to be 60. Under 60K before options. Options usually can bump it
that's
up.
One of them cars. That's a save up for that car.
Yeah. Because just to put in
that's
perspective,
more affordable than most of the other cars than I can think of right now.
Because just to put in perspective, other supercars or even mid-engine exotic cars, their starting price before options is usually
6 figures easy.
250,000. I know the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, that's what, 300 maybe starting.
Yeah, before options.
Yeah,
that's fucked.
The Ferrari 488 is about 300 before options. Yeah, so you're getting this. This is honestly a bargain. Like McLaren used to be like the supercar bargain because it would usually be about 50, sometimes even 100 grand less than its competitors. But I feel like Corvette is throwing his hat into the ring with these other global competitors, and even though it doesn't have anyone to compete at home with besides really like the Viper, which kind of comes in and out, it's gonna start showing itself around the world. If you ask me.
Sounds pretty nice. And everyone, I think everyone should at least have a goal car that they should save up for. Like, get it at least once in your life. And this sounds like a good place to start.
Yeah, when you go with that midlife crisis in your 50s and you wearing ball caps and jean shorts. But,
They're all the same.
and just for people that may not necessarily understand what it means for a car to be mid-engine or what's the performance, what makes it better performance-wise, when you have a car that's mid-engine, it increases. You can essentially make the suspension and chassis a lot stiffer, which increases the handling of the car. It can go through corners faster. You can accelerate. You can generally accelerate faster because if it's not stiff enough, the car can lose control and even spin out at times. That's just the perk to having a mid-engine car. And Corvette said that they knew they were getting to that point where they had to eventually go mid-engine because they just kind of reached the performance peak for front-engine cars. But,
At least they know their limits. Like,
yeah.
there are some products out there that they'll be like, oh, we'll just keep rehashing the same shit, and then they're not here anymore. So
Exactly. So it's good to see that they're changing it up. In regards to the appearance, it definitely looks like they're going for a newer look. I mean, I guess you can say that it. Oh man, I got some indigestion right there. But I guess you could say that it kind of.
What?
but I guess you could say because a lot of people they don't really like. Some people don't like the look of the C7 because it's just an evolution from the C5. I guess you can kind of say this is a little bit of that evolution, but it definitely looks like it's its own look. Like the rear looks nothing like the past.
It looks like a
generations.
Camaro. I hate to say it, but it kind of looks like a Camaro. Look at the taillights. Look at the figure.
The back does have a resemblance of a Camaro, but
The taillights are exactly Camaro taillights. So
it's GM. They're gonna reuse parts endless, but
this
but,
looks like the kind of car that like a rapper on a budget would use in their videos.
So I couldn't get the McLaren, so I got to sell it to Vet. Yo, can we put McLaren badges on this? No one's gonna tell the difference. But I do like the new wedge shape that they're going for, like the Lamborghini type wedge shape. I like that look for cars, and I think it's a nice little look. But do you guys got anything else to say for the new Corvette?
Not really.
Unless anything on your part.
I'm curious as to see what the other trim models, really have to offer.
Oh yeah.
We're seeing the Stingray with the performance package being 495 and running sub 3 seconds 0 to 60s. What's the Z06 model gonna have? What's the ZR1 model gonna have?
You saying that actually reminds me of the very end of the podcast when they showed this little video. It showcased the convertible version. It looked more like a
Is it a hardtop convertible?
yes,
Or soft top convertible? Yeah.
hard top, but it kind of looked like a how should I put it? Like how Koenigsegg has it, where you remove the top of it, like a Target top, T-top,
Yeah.
or things like that, and also the C8R. Now I know there's the C7R, but I don't even know if that's street legal. But they showed the C8R and the camouflage paint job that they do, and it had this massive wing on it, and it just looks like it'll be an absolute track monster, similar to how the C7R
Is it like if you you can customize your own Corvette on the Corvette website?
Yeah.
Have you seen the bigger wing option on their website?
I have not. Is it similar to that of the current ZR1?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it side by side. But if you go on the website and you do the design, you can access a large rear wing.
Okay.
I just didn't know if that was the one that they were showcasing in the C8R or not.
I would imagine the C8R is just like a souped up version of like the Grand Sport, where like the Grand Sport is the more track focused version of the Corvette without like that Z06 ZR1 power, but even more track heavy, track focused. But
Right.
yeah, that's all I gotta say about the new Corvette. Pretty dope looking car, and definitely can't wait to see more from Chevrolet slash GMC, the future of it in the next coming years. Moving on to the next segment, we got a couple things to talk about on media. The first one is the Witcher 3, or not really Witcher 3, but the Witcher TV show based off of the books, I'm pretty sure it was, right, Intel?
Yeah, it's the books on. It's not the games. It's the books. So I mean, he's still gonna be a savage, but he ain't gonna be like Witcher 3 savage.
Bro, I have Witcher 3. I'm like Bloody Baron, that's where I'm at in it, so towards the beginning. But that world is just so savage. Like, it's honestly kind of disturbing how savage of a world that game is placed in.
I've always liked how with like The Witcher, they're like, oh yeah, you're a badass, but don't get it twisted.
Everyone
You'll
else
get
is.
You will
It's
get
like-
fucked up.
Because like they established it early on in the game through like one of the tutorials is that the thing that helps a lot of Witchers survive is the fact that they prepare, and if you don't, you will probably die. And like it's proven true for me, and like there's just a lot of things that I just can't fight, or else I'll just get my ass beat. But let's talk about, because both of you guys saw the trailer for it, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
What do you think about the actor that's going to be doing Geralt? Yeah, Geralt.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he better do a good job. Fuck it, he left Superman for this role, so.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's Henry Cavill. He was Superman. I mean, it's not
Oh.
confirmed because DC and his team were like, oh, he's not leaving Superman. Don't worry, but he left Superman.
Gotcha.
So hopefully he finds more joy in this role. Hopefully it's better praised and better well received.
Gotcha.
Because Superman was
Was
ass.
not. Yeah, was not.
So I'm hoping this show is kind of like, one, it proves that these Netflix shows can get real big budgets and still look good.
Yeah, it looks like it has a good budget behind
Because I know
it.
things like Stranger Things, that show has a pretty big budget and it looks pretty good.
Okay.
Full
But,
production budget,
we
yeah.
haven't gotten like a full on like this. If it's good enough, could probably rival fucking Game of Thrones. So
That's what I was about to say. Is this the Game of Thrones replacement everyone's going to be looking for? Is this going?
I would hope so.
This is gonna
Maybe
bring
this
Netflix
maybe this will give them the ending that everyone wanted.
Oh, okay. Throwing that slander. Okay, I see you. Endless, what do you think about the Witcher TV show? What do you think of the actor for Geralt?
Man, I think everything on it looks promising, but we know that a lot of these promising things that are game spin-offs and whatnot.
But it's not a game
Sometimes-
spin-off, it's a book spin-off.
Well, yeah. Well,
There's hope.
the popularity came from the games and not the books.
You're right.
Yeah,
So-
facts.
You got to think about it like that: are the writers and producers of the show getting the storyline? Sure, it's coming from the books, but are they getting inspiration for the characters, like actions and emotions, from the book or from the game? That might complicate things with the fan base.
Well, I mean, to my
Yeah.
knowledge, there's enough material in the books to really like have your own fleshed out character. I mean, the games borrow heavily from the books, but from my understanding, there's enough material in the books to really flesh out like this is the way Geralt would really act, like his because this is before a good chunk of shit that would happen in the game. Like the games take place after all the books,
Oh, okay.
so I'm
No,
sure this is
honestly,
gonna like be like this might explain how he got all those fucking scars on his face, shit like that. Who knows?
But I'm not saying that there's not enough substance in the books to write a character for him. I'm just saying, are the writers and producers going to go the easy route and access a more relatable medium, which would be the games? Because the games is already an adaptation of how he moves and walks and talks and interacts, and it's easier to take inspiration from something that's more relatable, because book it's mainly what you think of the character as well. They write books and they have an idea, but since you can't physically see or hear anything of the characters, thinking of it like from your own point of view is a big part of it. So that's why I feel like they might take inspiration from
Well, I
the
feel like they
games
kind of already
more than the
have. Like,
books.
I don't know if you heard me when Brendan was watching the trailer, but I was like, what I like is he sounds like Geralt from the
Yeah.
games. Like in the one line I heard him say, he sounded like Geralt to me. So they could already just be taking a good chunk of inspiration from the
Right.
games, which isn't a bad thing. The games are fucking phenomenal. Never mind all the bugs, but the games are really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be mad if they took some inspiration from the games.
No, 'cause it's not like the games are bad. It's just, I guess, your preferred.
So, Josh, unless you're
medium
just
for it.
kind of concerned about them capturing the world of The Witcher, or like the, just like the environment, the, I don't really know the word I want to use for it. The tone. Of
It's the tone.
Okay.
You know, so I'm not as I haven't read the books. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about them. I don't know the
Yeah.
I feel like as
backstory.
long as they establish like the world that The Witcher takes place in
Mhm.
is like you can get your life snatched away from you any second. Like
You're right.
it's always a struggle to really like be out here and survive. As long as they make it be like, oh yeah, this is like Chirac, but back in the
my
day.
God. This
Like,
man-
as long as they make it known, like,
This man just compared the world of The Witcher to Chirac, and now Geralt is Chief Keef. All right, we done. Podcast
oh,
over.
bro, Geralt's little Dirk boy.
Oh my god. Oh man. Anyways, I don't know. One thing I find interesting about Geralt as a character in The Witcher is that he's not like 24/7 talking savage to people. He just talks like a normal person, which I really like. He's not. I guess the best way I could describe it is like War and Death from Darksiders. You know, War, he's just angry all the time. He's just always giving people disrespect. He don't care about nobody. Then when Death
He's not an
comes,
edgelord.
yeah, true. But that man, he's War and he's mad about.
No, I'm saying Geralt is not an edgelord, which they
Yeah,
easily
true.
could have made him be an edgelord.
Yeah, I'm
I
glad
mean,
they didn't.
when you're that level of, and I hate to keep using this term because this is all that really comes to mind, but when you're that level of badass, and you could easily,
Just be an
world may
asshole.
be dangerous, but you could easily hang with pretty much every creature out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you see some of the scopes of like all the monsters you fight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say spoiler alert because the game's like fucking 5 years old, but spoiler alert, you kill a griffin in like the opening of the game.
Yeah.
That griffin is fucking huge,
Yeah.
and like he can easily take it down. I mean, you know, when I played, I died a couple times because that's because I'm an idiot. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they easily could have made girl an edgelord while doing that, because it's kind of easy to make someone who can just take on anything. Just be like, the world isn't what I once thought it was. It's not fun. You take no joy.
All right,
You know,
Batman.
shit like that. That's not Batman. That's Geralt.
I'm Batman.
They easily could. I'm Batman. They easily
Sounds
could've
like
done
the Adam West Batman.
They easily
Oh,
could have
man.
done that, but they didn't, which is what.
Yeah. And I kind of.
I hope they take that route in the Netflix show.
Yeah, I really hope he's not just angry edgelord. I'm better than everyone else.
Which, by the way,
sort of
this is a
person.
Netflix show. You have to have a Netflix subscription to watch.
Yeah, true that. But
I mean, who doesn't have access to Netflix these days?
I feel like you'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, but let's lead that into the next part of the segment with all the Marvel stuff, because they're coming back pretty strong with some TV shows. And I know, like, with Marvel and other Netflix originals like Orange is the New Black, things like that, that's usually what keeps people interested in Netflix. So, Intel, you know, you're a comic book nerd, you know all about that stuff. You're the Marvel man, you're basically our Stan Lee. Like, go give us the 2 cents on first, like, the things that Marvel is going to be, all the Marvel TV shows for Netflix. Then we can talk about the future of the Avengers / Marvel Cinematic Universe.
All right, so basically, like like the last couple days, I want to say probably yesterday, it was Marvel had their Comic-Con panel, and they revealed everything that's going on for Phase 4. So in terms of like TV shows on the Disney Plus streaming service that they're having,
Disney Plus.
yeah, it's kind of weird that like they're having TV shows, but anyway, to like kick off all the TV shows, they have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and keep in mind, every character is being played by their MCU actor. So Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, I think is his name, are going to be in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, and that kicks off like their entire like Marvel TV verse shit that happens in the MCU on their streaming service. And then right after, there's gonna be 2 movies after that, and then it goes into WandaVision, which is Scarlet Witch and Vision and what they're doing with their lives. I think it's post Endgame, which I think it would be pretty cool if they did like what they were doing with their lives after Civil War, but we all know what happens. So actually, that's probably what it's gonna be, because spoiler: Vision died in Infinity War.
He hella
I
died.
mean,
He got his head caved in a stone that was powering his entire body, forcefully ripped out of his head.
Endgame,
So-
I know, produced. I don't know how relevant this is, but it produced 2.7 billion worldwide, and it actually beat Avatar today, I think, for the most highly grossing
It
movie
just
of
beat
all time.
Avatar?
Yeah,
Yep.
today. I saw
Because
it.
they did that re-release thing.
Yeah.
push it over.
They got all those sweaty neckbeards to come back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Smart.
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty smart of them. But anyway, so yes, they have WandaVision after. Go ahead.
But is it just the Disney? Because Disney Plus is its own service, right?
Yeah, Disney Plus is its own streaming service, and it's gonna have like all its Disney. So Disney Plus is gonna have all their Star Wars shows. So they're gonna have like the Mandalorian. They're gonna have a Darth Vader show. I think is gonna be there.
Oh, okay.
I think they're gonna put the Clone Wars on there. Because they're making a new season of the Clone Wars TV show. I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
The
That's
animated one.
That's one of the few things in the Star Wars universe that was canon after the Disney takeover.
It's the you said the animated one.
Yeah.
That one's fire.
So Disney Plus it's gonna have everything that Disney owns. So like, I was thinking about it. I was like, because I really like the show Phineas and Ferb. I think it's fucking great. I was like, I can't find Phineas and Ferb on anything. And then I thought about it. They're probably taking it off everything. So in the fall, that way they could just have the show ready to go on the streaming service. But anyway, so yeah.
Is they bringing Marvel shows to Netflix?
No.
Oh, they're not?
No, they're not.
Oh,
So
they're
the deal with
pulling
Netflix
everything.
the deal with Netflix is over.
Okay, so Netflix.
That's why they're ending all their shows and shit.
So like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that was on Netflix, right?
That was on ABC. I think that show is ending too.
But basically, there's going to be no Marvel shows on Netflix.
Yeah,
They're just
everything
gonna
is
have
going
some of the
on
movies.
Disney Plus. They're
Really?
they're consolidating all their IPs
So
onto one platform, so they can have control over everything.
So they're taking even the movies off of Netflix as well.
Everything.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Everyone's doing that recently, though. Have you seen that?
What?
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of like NBC's doing that too. Like The Office is getting pulled from Netflix. Friends is getting pulled from Netflix.
I think it's because
Everyone's creating their own streaming service.
Actually, I was listening to earlier today. I was cleaning up the house and shit because we're going on vacation soon. And I was listening to the Gaming Illuminati podcast, and one of them was talking about how they were watching this show, and this guy was talking how he invented something, and it was like one of those things that's like, yeah, everyone should probably have that. It seems like a common sense thing to have. And the people that he was presenting it to, the investors, asked him, okay, how could we make this like a subscription type thing? And when he said no, I was just going to sell them the product once and then they have it, and he said that the investors actually laughed him out of the room. So maybe the reason why everyone's starting to get all these subscription services is because that's like the move on how to make money nowadays. Because it's like
where the money's at.
Because if you think about it, Netflix is making fucking bank. It's not like you pay $10 one time and then you have Netflix for the rest of your life. No, it's every month you pay what, $15, so they get that recurring $15. Spotify, every month you pay like $10. So let's say I have Spotify. Josh, do you have Spotify?
Yep.
Brendan, do you have Spotify?
No, I use Apple Music.
Oh, What's
Still
that?
gotta
10
pay for
bucks?
Apple Music though.
Let's that
Yeah.
$10?
Yeah, it's 10
Okay,
bucks. It
so
ain't bad.
let's say that
That's
you
pretty
do
good.
have Spotify. Out of us, that is $360 out of just
Yeah.
3 people
Yeah.
in total every year. So
Mhm.
I think out of our entire friend group, they're probably at least making over $1,000. And that's
Yeah.
just our friend group. And then we extend it to like everyone who
Millions
went
of
to our high
people.
school. Then that's well over maybe 10,000. You know, so you gotta. I mean, it's kind of sad because now you have to shell out what 15 more bucks
Mhm.
on top of your Apple Music or Spotify. I mean, I pay for Spotify. I have my PlayStation. I also pay for Hulu is included on my Spotify, so that's good.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, you
But
got that bundled.
one
Uh-huh.
concern I have for all this, I think, Endless, you were thinking about too, is saturation. That it's just
Yeah.
going to be spread too thin, and that rather than having one consolidated platform like how Netflix was, it's just going to be spread way too thin. There's going to be too many subscription services, and a lot of people are going to lose because they were like, "Yo, we can make money off of this." If these other people are doing it, if they're going to move to it, why can't we? There's going to be a lot of big losers and a lot of big winners. I definitely feel like Disney's going to be one of those big winners we're doing that Disney Plus because that's just so much stuff. And then
Also,
Friends, The Office, like with that being spread out thin, like there's just I feel like those people because it's not like Hulu, another big streaming service. It's like the people that own it, they're going to try and start their own, right?
no.
Or is that going
I mean,
to Hulu?
what's going to Hulu?
Okay. Because we have like Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix. Now this Disney Plus is coming in. Like, it's just going to be spread so thin.
And then you also have HBO Go, and then all that show. Like, I think
Yeah.
every major like cable channel has their own streaming service or subscription
There's just
plan thing.
And it's like that's just where it is for video streaming services. That's not even including music streaming services. How you
And then you got people that then, like, because I was thinking of getting Shadow Play for my computer because it's getting old now. It's running off just the charger alone. I'm having trouble running some shit nowadays. So if I got Shadow Play, I could play all my games on my phone. Like, that's $10 a month. And then they have people who maybe you have an Xbox and you have the Xbox Game Pass. That's what, 10 a month. So I mean, all of them subscription services is gonna get expensive. I remember everyone was saying like go to start cord cutting, all that shit back in the day. Are millennials killing the cable service? We were until we got all these subscription services and everyone was like, oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
Now you have to pay $10 a month to watch not Spotify. You have to pay $10 a month to watch Netflix, $14 a month to watch Hulu, $14 a month to watch Disney Plus, maybe $15 a month to watch HBO if you're a fan of Game of Thrones and all that shit. I know HBO has their own Watchmen show coming out. I think that's gonna be like a streaming platform exclusive. I don't know. I heard that somewhere. So I mean, it's just gonna be a bunch of money.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to really start cutting out some subscriptions and making choices.
People are gonna stop paying.
You just have those big winners and those big losers that don't get much, or if anything. But give some.
Like I feel like those consolidated ones, like Hulu and Netflix, are probably gonna lose out on the most. Because because you have to think about it. Disney owns Fox now, so and like the only streaming platform that actually has like Fox properties is Hulu. So Hulu has Family Guy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, American Dad, Cleveland Show, all that shit.
They're just built up on Fox basically. So if all that moves to Disney Plus, Hulu's done. Unfortunately, and Hulu's dope. But unless you got anything to say about all the streaming services or anything to say about the MCU, how it's going to be.
We ain't even finished with what's left of the MCU TV show list.
Oh my god, I don't think we need to go that far into it, but maybe just a few big movies. Maybe a few big movies.
I mean, they've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows in total. that are planned for Phase 4. It's just Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, which picks up right after what happened in Endgame, What If, which is just their alternate universe shit, and Hawkeye, which I don't really want to watch a Hawkeye show. I mean, he's cool and all. They gave him some characterization. That's a nice faux hawk and tattoos, but
I mean, we already have Green Arrow, like
Green Arrow. Well, the fucking Arrowverse is doing their own like Infinite Crisis thing, I heard, and they're having 2 Supermans on the screen at once, which everyone's losing their shit about. Oh.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But unless you got anything to say about any of this stuff,
bro, all I'm gonna say is that Netflix, Hulu, Disney. Everybody's about to lose a shit ton of money.
Disney's about to lose money. What you mean?
Disney's gonna get all the money.
No.
Nah, I feel like Disney Plus.
Here's the problem, bro. You're gonna have people with the new Disney plan doing the exact same thing that they're doing with Netflix. They're gonna be sharing with their friends, right? And so what's gonna happen is Disney's gonna miss their marks, which Netflix actually just did. There are millions of subscriptions under their estimated marks because everyone's sharing accounts now, right? I'm telling you that they're building this platform that's estimated to reach certain milestones to be profitable, and they're not going to reach the milestones, is my guess.
Conspiracy theory time. What if all these subscription services were a way to force people back into getting regular cable? I'm saying, fuck this. I'm just getting regular cable again so I can watch all these shows when I want with just DVR.
On demand.
Yeah, bro.
Is On Demand going to make its comeback?
Oh my god! We just
blew it all over.
This is the plot. This is the plan.
We gotta go into hiding, bro. We gotta get us out of here.
I have a knock at my door, bro. Oh, FBI, open up.
Oh my god.
Oh, I think I just peeked there doing that knock on my door. Alright, but
that's all the TV shows, and then of course the movies. I want to say probably like most of them people aren't really care about. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. People might care about the Black Widow movie, but spoiler alert, she's dead. That takes place between Civil War and Infinity War. Eternals, which just sets up mutants and shit, so the X-Men. Might explain Thanos. Shang-Chi, I'm kind of interested in that. In the comics, he teaches Spider-Man his own way of fighting, called the Way of the Spider. Then you have the Doctor Strange movie, which they said is going to be the first horror movie in the MCU.
Oh.
Which might be interesting.
I mean, was seeing how Dormammu was, I honestly think they could pull it off, because Dormammu was actually kind of scary.
Dormammu, could you imagine being trapped in the fucking dark dimension with Dormammu? That'd be fucking scary. But, and then the last movie of Phase 4 is Thor: Love and Thunder, and that sees the return of Natalie Portman, and she's gonna become Thor.
Yeah. But with the Doctor Strange movie, it's gonna be featuring Homeboy from the end of the first one, who's just like, yeah, there's too many sorcerers. That's an issue right now. It's probably gonna be.
I think it might have Mordo.
Okay.
I think it might have Mordo. I know Doctor Strange has confirmed to have Scarlet Witch in it also.
Oh, that would be pretty neat to see them two fight with each other. But in the comics, what is Mordo? Mordo?
Yeah, Baron Mordo.
Like? What is he like?
I feel like they kind of got him closely accurate to how it was in the movie. He's a little bit more just evil, because he's a comic book villain. He's a little bit just more like, haha, I'm taking over the world. But that's just how he is. I'm taking over the world.
Oh my god.
But in the movies, they kind of gave him more of a twist of like he's burned. He's a scorned man. He feels like he trusted the system, and the system fucked him.
Yeah, true. They got that right in the movie.
So that's pretty cool.
Gotcha.
I don't know if he'll be making his return in Doctor Strange though. That'd be cool to see if he's like out there in the multiverse.
Hold up. If him and Dormammu team up? Hold up. Wait a minute. I doubt it would happen, because I mean, he's turning evil, but I don't know if he'll go to like that extent. But I don't know. That would be pretty crazy.
In the MCU, his main concern is like there has to be a balance of natural order
Yeah, true.
or some shit like that. So
True.
I could see him maybe turning to drastic measures later on,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think they're going to go that far with him.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the big news in Marvel Phase 5. They have, kicking it off, Fantastic Four. Then it goes straight to Black Panther 2.
Okay, that's what
Then Guardians of the
we care
Galaxy
about.
3.
Okay, we care about that too.
Then Mutants, which is basically just X-Men. And then
No one cares
Blade.
about that. Hey. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 movies that actually matter: Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and Blade. Poor Fantastic Four and X-Men. X-Men had like a couple
I mean,
good
I feel like
movies.
if they got the right people to play it, like if they got John Krasinski to play Reed Richards, I feel like it'd be probably a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
I think they have rumored to play it. John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic. Emily Blunt, who is his wife, is gonna play Sue Storm. I think they said Chris Hemsworth's little brother might be playing Johnny Storm.
Okay.
And no one knows who's gonna play Ben Grimm. And then they got Mahershala Ali to play Blade, which I don't know if you saw Luke Cage, right?
Yeah. I
Remember
saw a little
Cottonmouth?
bit of it. I don't think so. I only saw like one episode of it, maybe.
The black dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Fuck.
Alright,
Hold on, let me just pull up a picture.
Black
I'll send you a
Panther 2. Do we have any plot on that?
Not really.
Is Ryan Coogler directing it?
Yes.
Alright, so
Everyone is said to be returning.
Alright, cool.
Which is good.
Guardians 3. I'm guessing they're probably gonna have Adam in that. Maybe Thor. We have to see.
Possibly Thor. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
we'll
they're
have to
probably
see.
gonna have Adam Warlock in it. They teased him back in like
And he's
Phase 3. So I'm sure they'll
he's a
have.
big player in the MCU. Like he was big with the whole Thanos stuff. They didn't have him for that, but he's a big player.
But Thanos is
Marvel.
dead.
Galactus, I don't know, bro. Doctor Doom.
Hey,
who knows?
that'd be pretty cool. If they
Yeah.
bring in the Fantastic Four, that means they're probably gonna build towards Galactus. They're not.
Yeah.
I heard
Galactus and
they're no
Dr.
longer
Doom.
doing the They're no longer doing the like the 10-year thing
Gotcha.
anymore. They're trying to focus more on like 5-year plans and shit like that. Maybe
Gotcha.
each phase is its own big ass villain.
Gotcha.
Maybe every once in a while they're gonna do like he spans a couple phases. But it'd be pretty cool if they did a couple movies where like, okay, these people got together, now fight Galactus or fight Kang the Conqueror or Shang, I don't know, Fing Fang Foom, that.
Endless. What Marvel movies are you mainly looking forward to? If you're looking forward to any of them, because I know I'm kind of getting burned out, a little burned out. Marvel.
I've been burned out for a long time, so none of it really gets me too like excited. Like there's nothing that has me all like I can't wait for this. It's just like
You ain't excited to see Shang-Chi and the Master of Kung Fu?
I could not really. I need a break from anything superhero for like 2 years. Just
I actually
give me some
understand
time, bro. You know what I mean?
totally
Just give me
get
some
that.
time.
Like I haven't even gotten to Far From Home yet. I've just recently watched.
I still haven't.
I watched
I saw
Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse was refreshing though. I liked that a lot.
I love Spider-Verse.
That was really refreshing to watch. But honestly, I feel you on that. The only things I'm really looking forward to are like Guardians, Thor, Black Panther, Blade. That's about it. That's about it.
When we do see what Thor looks like, I'm hoping they kind of dial back the fact that Thor is a fucking clown. I was saying this to Endless earlier. Thor started off as a confident prick, and then he became a confident prick who's seen shit, and then he became the clown, and then he became a sad clown, and then he became a sad fat clown. So I'm kind of hoping that they dial it back to where he's still, you know, the god of thunder, but he's also funny. I don't want to just see strictly clowning or strictly funny, which I'm sure they're probably gonna do because the name is fucking Love and Thunder.
It's probably just gonna be a Pretty funny movie. I mean, in Infinity War, he was pretty fucking serious in Infinity War. While still
Well, because
being,
Infinity War is probably the most serious movie Marvel will ever release.
yeah, like just the opening of Infinity War, Loki gave me chills. Hearing the Asgardian distress call, like that kind of gave me chills a bit. Just hearing.
I feel like everyone knew Infinity War was gonna be like a fucking ride of a movie when they saw the Hulk get his ass fucking rocked.
Like Thanos, he wasn't even trying, boy. He just gave him the 1-2 and said, "Get out of here." I'm done with you.
Thanos didn't even have like Thanos only had one stone at that point. I think he only had one.
Let's wrap this up. Intel, what else you got to say about Marvel or even the Witcher show?
These subscription services about to kill everybody's bank accounts.
True. Endless, what you got?
Too much Marvel, too short a time.
Okay.
I think it's gonna, like, other people are gonna start getting burnt out too.
I think like a lot of people are burnt out. I've been hearing that a lot. Like everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so glad that Endgame's coming out. I'm gonna take a break from Marvel."
Are you also thinking about it? Endgame and Infinity War was basically the climax of the MCU. If you really
that's what's been happening for like the past 10 years.
We just had all that rising tension, and then just Endgame, Infinity War. It was just like holy fucking shit. Like,
I wouldn't say it's a climax, more of like a crescendo. The climax, not Endgame, but Infinity War. You know, when everything's sort of like all. His Infinity War is like the beginning of when 10 years of Marvel movies started to like finally get into motion and show what they were all about.
like really come together.
Yeah, and the Endgame was more of like a crescendo.
True.
I feel like Infinity War is more like, okay, so we've been telling these stories for 10 years, and this is what it looks like when everything comes together and it's told in a coherent way, which is good.
True that.
But I don't think we should do all these 10-year things.
Yeah, I agree to that. That's a bit too much. But moving on to the next segment, we got music. There are 2 albums in particular that I want to talk about. The first one is about a real ass nigga from the 305. He was raised off of Trina Trick, Rick, and Ply.
Oh my god!
Shit, he is anti because he'd rather see a man live than a man die. And if you like that bar that I just spit right there, then just stop listening to this podcast and go listen to Zoo by Denzel Curry off the best song on the album, Carol Mart. Okay. No, it's like,
oh my god.
Keep listening to the podcast because we're talking about another fire album after this one. Endless, I kind of recommended these to him, but he only really fucks with like Eminem, Beastie Boy.
He listens to Bobby Biracial.
Bobby Bisexual.
Fucking Bobby Bisexual boy.
But yeah, Zoo. So Zoo came out about a month ago, maybe.
Came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I really did.
I don't think anyone expected him to drop another album so soon after.
Yeah, because Curry
Taboo.
came at us. Yeah, in 2018 with Taboo. That was
which is probably his best work to date. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of probably the best albums of the 2010s in general.
Well, one thing I'll say about that is that listening to Taboo, Imperial, and Zoo, none of them, like, they're similar because they're Denzel Curry, but they all feel like they have their own personality, their own identity, which I really like, and you don't see very often nowadays. Like, you can, like, I can hear a song from one of those albums, and I can tell you right away, like, yeah, it's from that album just from hearing it. Like,
well, I feel like the way Denzel Curry works is he has like his own like process where it's like he's like, this has to sound different. Like he wants there to be a distinction between his albums and show that there's growth in his music making, which is good. You don't get that from most artists. Like that's the problem I have with Drake currently. There's no growth in his music. He peaked at Take Care.
True. But like the only 2 songs I would really say from Zoo that really reminded me of Taboo were Wish and Pat, but those were still like their own thing. because like the thing about Zoo is that it was really just all about Denzel's life in Miami, the 305, and like that's that's the feeling I got from this album. He was just talking all about that. Just I don't know what the fuck Denzel talks about, but I like it. Like I don't know.
I think this album was a good.
Nice.
It had a lot of like party songs on it, which is pretty good. Like I want to say Taboo had maybe 2 or 3 party songs. Like off the top of my head, I can only really think of like Sumo, maybe Clout Cobain,
Super Saiyan God,
Super Saiyan, that man. I mean, Super Saiyan, Superman, and some shit like that.
Super Saiyan, Superman.
Maybe if you're into like that real aggressive rap,
BMT.
like you want to lose your fucking mind, BMT and Vengeance.
Black Metal.
Maybe Perks.
Yeah, maybe Perks.
Like that whole third active Taboo. If you're really into like lose your mind type shit.
Yeah.
Maybe some party songs.
Zoo definitely like Carol.
Zoo
Mart,
is all like
Shake 88
bangers.
She
goes take that ass.
She goes take that ass because she only lived once.
I
was like, what is this?
I was like, this nigga trying to get bitches to start twerking everywhere.
For real though. But yeah, he came at us with Ricky and Speedboat as singles before he dropped Zoo. And when he dropped Speedboat, I remember when I first listened to it on Apple Music, it showed like the album cover of Zoo, and it said that's the album that was coming from. So I clicked on it, I was like, oh, what is this? I was like, oh, there's a whole album. Oh, and Ricky on here. But yeah, it was pretty good. And like the thing
I did like how. Oh, go ahead.
The thing about that I really liked about this album is that it incorporated both hip hop and rap, and it blended it very well together, rather than it just being a bunch of hip hop party music.
Because there is a distinction.
Yeah,
There's a difference between hip hop and rap.
I'll talk about that.
I still won't know it.
Yeah, I'll talk about that with the next album. But Kaden, you got anything else to say about Zoo?
I will say I do like how he touched on, because I don't know if you guys, or you know this, Brendan, and I know a lot of people do not really care for this person, but he actually used to live with XXX Tentacion. He owned the house, the ULT house. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He owned the ULT house, which had X, Ski, Wi-Fi's Funeral, most people and members only, Ronnie J, the producer that produces for like all the Miami niggas. They all used to live together, and he does reference, you know, that, you know, he kind of speaks on it, which I think is, I was kind of wondering if he would say anything about it in a Taboo, and he really didn't, which I understand. The album came out around the same time that X died, so it's not like he's gonna really get a song on there that's like, yo, I miss my nigga, some shit like that. So I did like how he kind of acknowledged, you know, his friend is gone, but that isn't gonna stop him.
Yeah.
He's gonna continue to grind and, you know, do his thing for his friend. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Josh, you got anything to say about Zoo?
Huh? What now?
Not even fucking listening.
All right, there's endless his thoughts on Zoo. All right,
he's like, was there any songs with Bobby by Rachel?
Was there Bobby by Rachel on the album? But Kane, did you have one other thing to say about Zoo or Denzel?
I was just gonna say, M's on my belt. I'm feeling like a Majin Buu. Pockets full of ivory, and you know the face is blue.
Okay.
Shoe game sick as fuck. It's like I'm walking on a flu. Carol City nigga, boy, I'm coming out of Zoo.
Zoo. He came out the gate with that song. I'm just like, okay.
That's probably one of my favorite album intros.
Yeah, that was
ever.
hype. That was really good.
That song, I was like, okay. Oh, now he's singing. And then the beat, like, it comes in, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's 305, we in the house.
Grab your tech.
Right. Like, it came with that chill shit, like, okay, we got a little bit of, like, Taboo right here, okay, then you can start
he raised me.
I was like, oh, shit. Alright, but, next album I want to talk about, it comes from a guy named Anonymous, or Anon. He's actually a part of a gaming group called the Gaming Illuminati. They're kind of
Anonymous
popular.
Killer.
Yeah, Anonymous Killer. A pretty popular YouTuber from that is the Black Okage, or TBH. It's actually how I know about Anon, is through their YouTube content. He's a little bit more underground, and I'm pretty sure he also comes from Miami or some part
he's
of
from
Florida.
Broward County.
Gotcha.
So
But,
he's in the Miami area.
Yeah, this album's called "There Is No Threat," and the distinction between rap and hip hop, for people that don't know, hip hop is party music, like girls shaking their ass, having a
Shake
good time.
that ass, bitch. Now let me
Like-
see what you got.
Like some Migos, Future, every nigga with Lil in their name nowadays, like all that auto-tune stuff. That's hip hop. Rap is a lot more personal, a lot more poetical.
Here's a good way to distinguish it. Rap is Biggie, Tupac. Hip hop is niggas like
everyone
50 Cent,
True.
Lil
Yeah.
Wayne.
Yeah. Lil Wayne goes back and forth, I'd say.
Lil Wayne, he can cross the lines, but he's more hip hop than anything.
Yeah, true. But
Drake, he's not really. He used to be a rapper, but now he's more like just a hip hop artist.
Scorpion was about a good half and half between hip hop and rap. Like, there were some pretty deep songs on Scorpion, but
You
like,
can't tell me I wasn't high in the world. I was high in the world for my kid. Is deep. That nigga is just trying to make excuse for the fact that he's a deadbeat dad.
okay, that was a slander. I ain't got none against you, Drake. Scorpion was kind of nice, but
I
yeah,
do
that's-
using my favorite artist, then you fell off, nigga.
oh my god. Anyways, let's actually talk about the album until. But the thing that this is basically what I want in a rap album, is just pure bars. The flow was perfect. The rhymes was amazing. My favorite song goes back and forth between like 818 and 25 to Life. And put this in perspective, this album came out a couple, like I want to say 3 weeks maybe before Zoo did. So about
No, it came out because I was working. His Zoo came out over the summer. I was still working at the country club.
Did it really?
When
did this album really come out at that time?
Yeah, I was still working at the.
Oh wait,
I was
you're
probably
right.
back in like January or something.
You're right, because I started listening to this album like 3 weeks before Zoo came out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, this album's been out for a little while now, but the thing about this album is it's something you really just have to sit on and listen to multiple times, and I have been doing that for like these past 2 months, and like it's really changed how I've been thinking about it, because like at first Sundown and Feels So Good, those are kind of like okay songs for me, but the more and more I listen to it, the more I hear the lyrics, I feel the flow, I'm just like, okay, these songs are actually really, really good. And the beats that he uses on it, it's not, the beat isn't the center of the stage like how a lot of hip hop is, or even some rap. Like it's not so much about what you're saying, who you like, how you're presenting things. It's about having a hot beat. Like the beats on this were so good, but Anon was the center of the stage, and the beat just accompanied him. Like they were basically like the backup dancers. Is how is like it's a kind of a dumb analogy, but it's how I'd put it. And like just the lyricism and the flow he put out, it was so good, and it was a really personal album. Especially like on Anon's verse 25 to Life in the beginning, he just kind of says like, I grinded so hard, I've been putting out all this music, I really care about my fans, but you guys care more about a lot of these other niggas out here that don't give a fuck about you, they don't give a fuck about anyone but themselves. And like when he like words it in a very good way, to where
25 to
like,
Life, the one that's one begins with all my life I want to be a Beamer. Daddy
Yeah.
used to whip it on that one. I really like that one.
Yeah, that was 25 to Life. But
That has a good
he
flow.
actually did have Denzel Curry feature on it for the last song. There's no
That
threat.
song was so fucking lit,
That
dog.
song
Oh my
went
god.
hard. And like the thing I really liked about that one is the transition from Anon to Denzel, and like with his other features on this album too, they just like did a really smooth transition to it. Like it wasn't like verse, hook, verse. It was like verse. Oh man, I'm getting some more indigestion. It was basically like verse to verse with just a really smooth transition, and it was so good.
I feel like for like the song "No Threat," which is the one that had Denzel Curry on it. They did a good job of like with the beat itself showing, okay, this is Anon, and then you can tell it kind of distorts when it gets to Denzel Curry, and then you get the manic energy from Denzel Curry, and it continues all the way throughout, and then it quiets back down when it gets back to Anon, which I really like. When you can convey what's going on through just the beat alone, and if you just take out the vocals and you can tell, okay, someone with a lot of crazy energy is supposed to be right here, that's pretty good. And in terms of just the production in general, like beats, and I was working with that guy Downtime for a long time. He's been with Downtime since fucking Vice City.
Really? Wow.
And Downtime always produces a really good beat.
I know with Anon, he has a lot of mixtapes, but this was his second album, and this one
actually
was
this
very
is
different.
he calls this an EP, not an album.
Oh, really?
I remember I saw it on Twitter. I was like, "Hey, just call it an album.
Right?
It's long enough to be an album. It's got enough songs to be an album.
Right?
It's got enough production to be an album."
It was fire enough to be an album. But this is very different from Vice City, because Vice City, honestly, it feels like you're listening to more of a story rather than anything, and this, you feel like you're listening to a true rap album. Because like Vice City has a lot of like storytelling in it, like just like what would be a song, he just kind of speaks in it, and just yeah, that's all I can say. He just tells a story basically. But yeah, so far There Is No Threat is my favorite album of the year. I know Intel feels a little bit differently. Do you know what your favorite album of the year so far is, considering we're a little more than halfway through the year?
I want to finish out the year first, see what else comes out.
Gotcha.
I still gotta go back and listen to Crash Talk by Schoolboy Q.
Okay.
And there's another album I have to listen to.
Okay.
I gotta think about. I can't remember the name of it, but I heard it was really good.
Right.
So.
And this, any music you've been listening to this recently that you want to talk about?
He left.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
You
Okay.
hear that?
All right, I didn't even hear it. All right, so that finishes up for the music. Last on my list is anime. I have 4 here that I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk too much about them though. First one is Rising of the Shield Hero. This one came out last year, I believe. Yeah, probably last year, or either like very, very early this year. And it was pretty good. It's an isekai, you know, transport to another world, which is a very saturated genre. But the thing that really helped this one stand out is the source material for it was written years ago, before isekai was really as big as it is now.
That's such a common thing in anime.
What, that the source material was written a long time before the anime?
No. That's such a isekai. There's an actual name for. Oh, I got transported to the world. I gotta figure out how to get back.
That's essentially what isekai translates into, is transported to another world. Yeah.
Fucking weebs gobble that shit up, don't you?
Yeah, but like if you just look for genres for anime, you just type in isekai, you got it. If you want to watch some girl stuff, you type in Yuri. Like, I don't know.
My god.
I don't know what Yuri translates into, but I don't know, some chick from Doki Doki, and God, that game still gives me nightmares. Anyways, yeah, Rising of the Shield Hero, basically the main character is a guy named Naofumi. He obviously gets transported to another world, and he becomes what's known as a 4 cardinal hero. There is the shield, bow, spear, and sword hero. And Naofumi is the shield hero, which is kind of like the laughing stock of the 4. And like almost immediately, this man is just basically putting on some dishonor type shit. And like, a way a YouTuber put it is that he didn't have it as bad as Subaru from what's it called, ReZero, but he didn't have it nearly as easy as that one nigga from SAO, Kirito, cutie guy, whatever his name is. He fucked his sister. Anyways,
Kirito is male Mary Sue. That is all.
Alright. But basically this anime truly is him rising up, and while Shield is seen as the weakest of the four cardinal heroes, we see that it is actually the strongest one. We see that about halfway through the series, but it comes with a really big price for the power that you have to get for that. But it's a really good one. It has pretty good twists and turns towards the end, like the final few episodes of that final battle. Leading into what would be the next season, it was hella lit, really nice. The characters, for the most part, they're likable. I mean, Nafumi's probably the only people I really care about, with Raftalia and Philo, and yeah, it's all about. I really have to say about that one. Next one I want to talk about. It's been out for a couple months now, maybe 2 months, maybe one. It's called Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer. If you honestly just go on to Crunchyroll and type in Demon Slayer, you'll find this shit. But I don't even remember the main character's name of this show. I'm like 15 episodes in, I can't remember his name. But basically, this guy, he has a very strong sense of smell, which is a kind of a big deal for this world. But basically, he lived with his family. They collected like firewood and they would sell it to the village. One day, and like he lived at like near a top of a mountain. Like one day when he was coming back up, it was too late, and he had to stay at like a villager's house because there's like, you know, if you go out late at night, the demons will probably come and eat your ass up. And so he stayed in. Then when he goes up the next morning, his whole family was just slaughtered by a demon, and it was pretty brutal. They didn't show us what happened; they just showed us the aftermath. And all but one person lived. Or, I'm sorry, everyone died, but one person lived, and that was his sister Nezuko. Yeah, I don't remember the main character's name, but I remember his sister's name. Basically, she gets turned into a demon, and he has a run-in with a demon slayer, which is someone that literally just runs around killing demons from the world. And the demon slayer is trying to kill his sister, but he eventually sees that his sister still has some humanity left in her because she has a will to protect her brother, and he decides to spare them and let him go train with this one guy to become a demon slayer so he can get revenge on the demon that did this to his family. And then the last two I want to talk about are two brand new ones. First one's called Fire Force, and this shit fire. Caden, have you checked out Fire Force at all? Or
No, I haven't. So like, here's what I'm gonna say. The last anime I didn't even finish it.
Hold on, you keep cutting out right now.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
Right. The last anime I watched was Parasite the Maxim. That was like last year. I didn't even finish that. To be honest, I kind of taken a break from anime because I was burned by SAO.
Say no more.
The last anime I watched was suggested to me by some friends, and just after SAO, I don't really trust it. That's why it's taken me such a long time to watch My Hero. I might actually start watching it soon, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to watch another anime and invest time into it and have the first half be actually kind of lit, and then actually get to it and it fucking sucks.
One thing I'll say about My Hero is that it just kind of keeps getting better, but I'll let you decide for that if you get around to it. But yeah, Fire Force it only has about 2-3 episodes right now, I believe. Basically, it's about this kid. All right, so the world of Fire Force, basically, I have to explain this first, is people are just randomly combusting out of nowhere and turning into what's called infernals, and they're basically just these demons covered in fire, and they have what's known as these fire forces, which come in and fight the demons and quote unquote puts them at peace, when in all actuality they're basically just killing them. And they're trying to, and the fire force also has a secondary job to figure out what's causing this combustion. We see this in the third episode a little bit, what might be causing the combustion, and it brings up a lot of questions about the morality of the fire force and things like that. But basically the main character, I don't remember his name either, it's a fucking long ass name. He is what's known as a third generation, and a third generation person has a lot of control and a lot of like pretty OP shit that they can do with fire. And what this kid can do, he can emit it from his feet, and he can do that to like create a lot of force and a lot of speed, so he can run really quickly, even fly through the air a little bit with it, or like if he kicks someone, he can ignite it and it will literally just blow a hole straight through them. He showed that a little bit in episode 2, but it's just a really fast-paced, a lot of action, like type of anime. If you're really interested in something like I'm just gonna beat your ass and call it a day, like I recommend watching this one. It's pretty nice. And
It's a pull-up anime, huh?
Yeah, it's a pull-up anime, but it actually has some good characters in it. Like, I like everyone on the Fire Force so far, probably besides Arthur, who's like another new recruit. Because this guy, he's a new recruit from this like academy, and he's also known as the Devil, because like one day when he was a young child, he burned like his entire house down. Or he didn't burn it, a really powerful infernal did, and like the infernal just left after that. But the fire was so powerful and like just so hot that it burned the bones of his mom and his brother or sister, I think, to the point where like their bones just weren't even found. Like everything was just charred, and he got.
That's the most anime ass backstory I have ever fucking heard. Holy shit!
But it gets better, because this man has a really bad issue with like if he's under stress, like he'll smile. Like he says the muscles in his face will like really tense up, and it causes him to smile. But so when his house burned down and people were like looking at it, like, you know, people were looking at him, and he had this big ass, like, demonic ass smile on his face, but he couldn't help it because he was just under a bunch of stress. So people were just like, oh yeah, he's a demon. He did this. He likes it. So it's just like, oh boy, all right then.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
fucking weeboos going for anything that they can. Oh my god, you should do a story. It's just anything every.
It's not too bad though. It's kind of nice. And
just hearing that backstory alone reminds me of Dead Man Wonderland, which I still need to finish. I started that back in like 2014, but when I tried to watch it, we lost our internet for like a good 2 or 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
So I just never went back to watching it.
I never watched that one.
That's how we got the internet back. I forgot about it.
One thing I heard about that, I never watched it, is that it just kind of has this rather abrupt ending. And I think it was because like the director of it got pregnant, and like they just kind of had to end it kind of quickly.
It had a good start. I mean, out of nowhere, some nigga pulls up and just kills everybody in a classroom.
Jesus.
It's like some supernatural guy.
I hear it's some brutal shit.
It is. It like just watching the first part, I was like, what the fuck? I thought they couldn't show blood in cartoons. This is back when I first started watching. This is back when I first started watching anime. Okay, give me a break.
That was probably a shell shock for you, boy.
I was like, I thought they couldn't show blood, and then you know, the internet cut out like halfway through me watching it, so I just never finished.
Oh god. But,
it was on Netflix, and now it's not. So.
Yeah, it sounds like every show on Netflix. But last one I want to talk about is Dr. Stone. So if you thought Fire Force was an anime-ass anime, get ready for this one, because...
Oh my god, I can't wait.
This is one of your... I'm just your average high school guy, and they have the body of Terry Crews and the mind of Albert Einstein. Alright, so... This anime is so goofy, but I love it, and I can't explain why. Because like every episode, so there's this guy, his name is Senku. He's this big brains, like nuclear
He's
scientist.
Alpha male.
He's not the alpha male. I ain't gotten to the alpha male yet.
There's someone above him? Okay. He's not the alpha male?
He's the alpha male in regards to the smarts, the brains. Like, this man knows everything, because he just loves science. Like, that's just all he cares about.
Alpha male.
No, he ain't even close, trust me.
I'm an alpha male. Ain't no bitch in me.
And another character, I don't remember his name, but Senku calls him Big Oaf, because this dude's just like hella strong. Like he could lift like a bunch of shit. And like in the beginning, like he's about to confess his love to this girl. You know, you gotta love a high school anime is always confessing love to girls, and they can barely speak when they do it. But and like on that day, out of nowhere, there's this big green flash in the sky, and everybody in the world turned to stone. And then, so what kept the Big O? So basically, the Big Oaf and Senku were the only two people to really break free from the stone, and it's because they never lost consciousness. And so like the Big Oaf dude, his reason for not losing consciousness is so he could confess his love to the chick. And mind you, this was for like hold on. Mind you, this was for like 3,700 years, I think they said. Yeah, these like they were encased in stone for 3,000, almost 4,000 years, and that's what kept this man conscious.
That's worse than Kirito using his willpower and love through Asuna alone
to keep him from
defy
dying.
the code of the game and to keep from dying.
Like I said, this anime is just some real goofy shit, but I love it. But what kept Senku conscious is literally counting every second that he was encased in stone for 3,700 years, because that's how we got the time frame. He's like, yeah, we've been encased in stone for like 3,000 years. I woke up about 6 months before you did, brother. And it's just like,
holy shit!
just
Do
like,
you think he was still counting the seconds, waiting for his friends?
I guess so. Maybe he just counted the
He's
days.
living on his own.
Maybe he just counted the days after that, but he built himself this little village and everything. Like just this one house thing for himself, and like a laboratory. That's just like some real basic shit. Ain't nothing crazy. But and then it basically is Senku wants to revive all of humanity, and the way that, and they eventually in episode 2 they find like the way to break people out of stone is through a nitrate I think it is, some sort of really strong acid, and basically if you pour it on people it'll break them free from the stone. And they were gonna break out the dude that wanted to confess his love this whole time, but they get attacked by some lions, and this is where the real goofy shit, typical high school anime shit comes in, because this is the alpha male right here, Kaden. The Big Oaf dude calls this man the ultimate high school primate or something like that. And basically, you know, this man encased in stone for 3,000 years. They poured on him so like he could fight the lions. This man comes out encased in stone for 3,000 years, and the first thing he says is, "What's the situation?" Breaks out of his stone like it's freaking glass, like it's nothing. And then this man's like jacked, chiseled, made like carved from fucking stone type body. This man punches a full-grown male lion with one punch and kills it. Like, I can't...
Okay, so you got Albert Einstein in Terry Crews's body versus just The Rock.
No, he ain't in Terry Crews's body. He's like he has a normal high school body, I think.
Oh.
I hope. The Big Oaf dude, he's kind of like on that Terry Crews type body. But they revive this man that kills a full-grown male lion, and like Senku pointed out the fact, like, yo, humanity's been gone for like 4,000 years. Lions are at basically the top of the food chain right now. This man just comes out and just one punch man's a lion. Like, whoa, what? Oh man, but this guy actually turns out to be pretty crazy. He has a pretty crazy vision for the future, because Senku wants to revive every human, and this guy is just like, nah, only like the pure-hearted youth, because like all the adults are corrupted, they're evil, they just want to take everything back, they're just evil and shit like that. And like, so they're in a little
code-named Kid Next Door,
yeah, like a
in bodybuilder world.
But no, this is probably the most ridiculous part here, Caden. So they eventually start scrapping, and because like they revive the dude's love, and they like trick primate guy. I don't remember his name. They trick the Rock. We're just gonna call him the Rock. The punches a lion. We're just gonna call him that for right now. But
fucking Christ.
But like they trick him. He comes back to like their little village thing where they revive the chick, and him and Big Oaf Dude, they scrap. And Senku, he like made a crossbow, okay, somehow, and he shoots it at this guy, and he catches the crossbow bolt in midair, throws it on the ground, and uses the momentum from that to spin and kick the Big Oaf Dude, which knocks him on the ground and basically makes him pass out for a second.
You know, outside of T-posing, I feel like that's probably the best way to assert your dominance.
It really is, though, because then they're like talking. He's like, yeah, he's gonna be out for a couple days. He was actually lying to them. He was like, all right, I'll just come back at another time then. I don't know why he did that, but I think he's just so he can go kill adults in their stone forms. Yeah, this man actually like punches stone and like it just shatters. It's ridiculous. And Senku pointed out the facts after that the Big Oaf Dude got knocked down. He said that crossbow bolt was traveling at 200 kilometers per hour, which I'm pretty sure is like 130 miles per hour.
Ooh, big brain moves.
So this man caught an arrow at 130 miles per hour and just throws the shit into the ground like it's something to do. But yeah, and this and The Rock, he's honestly has some Albert Einstein brains, because like this man on some Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney type shit. Like he's finding out everything. He's Cole Phelps from L.A. Noire.
Oh my god.
He's the ultimate detective.
Press X to doubt.
But that's all I have for anime. I only have one other thing to talk about. It's more like intel. It's the new game. My friend Pedro with some talking bananas and shit. Just give your 2 cents on the game. I haven't gotten to it yet. I really want to though. But yeah, just give your 2 cents on my friend Pedro.
What can I say that probably hasn't already been said? If you like games that make you feel like a real nigga, this is the game for you. If you want games that teach you the value of friendship, this game is not for you.
Alright, that's the gaming segment.
I like it. The mechanics are good. The soundtrack is bumping. You can tell a soundtrack's good if you actually play it in your car. I will willingly drive down to anywhere with that soundtrack. Pump into my car. So, soundtrack is A1. Gameplay is A1. It's a little bit short. I kind of wish there was more. And I hope in a future update they add like a map editor. Dude, that'd be fire. Seeing people trying to speed run these crazy ass maps. Guns are cool. They handle well. Mechanics are fun. If you got like $20 lying around, pick it up.
Okay. Alright, well, that is all for the first episode of Auspicious Conversation. I'll do Endless's closing statement.
I listen to Bobby by Rachel.
Yeah, I listen to Bobby by Rachel. Only the Eminem, Beastie Boy type rappers. That's what I like. I drive cool cars.
Camaro, GTR. BMWs are normal cars.
Oh my god.
BMW is not a normal car, by the way. If you have a BMW, that means you stunting or you somewhere above regular niggas. Like.
Alright, Until I'll give you a closing statement for the first episode of Auspicious Conversation.
It's cool to see another podcast out there. We need more people talking that real shit.
True.
Giving helpful opinions and hopefully constructive criticism. What else? Follow me on my SoundCloud. I'm trying to make it big. You know, a nigga trying to pay some bills with his beats because I actually enjoy that shit. Not going somewhere to work.
Real quick, can you shout out the album whose beat you were on? Or you put a beat on the album, right?
Yes, my homie Eddie Lowe. If you search him up on Spotify, he's putting out that album real soon. So yeah, that's coming out soon. Can't really think of anything else.
Yeah, just hit this man up. Just DM him if you need some hot beats.
You need any music? I got you.
You got it. Yeah, check out some of the SoundCloud stuff. It's pretty nice on there.
Trying to be a rapper? I got you, dog. Don't worry about it. Finna make some fucking fire shit that nobody heard before.
He just charges a 50-50 split is all pre-light stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying to get into that next tax bracket. Anyways, my closing statement. Thank you for joining in on my first podcast. Technically, I was on another podcast featuring on it, but it's my own thing.
That bitch dead. Died.
We may try to revive it, or this may be the revival of it.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm trying to post this everywhere I can. Definitely going to post this on YouTube. Please leave comments on how I can improve. I definitely want to make this podcast better, reach a bigger audience. If you have anything that you want to hear us talk about, just also leave a comment, hit me up. And yeah, Auspicious Conversation out.